Good evening, Rochester. Britt Noser here, your candidate for mayor with the Setting a New Course podcast. I'm going to give you a little bit of further analysis on the Post Bulletin's endorsement letter of Kim Norton. I promised that I would. So there's a couple points, that are important here. When you look at the article, a lot of what they point out that we said is indeed our positions, what we said. But it's the way that they couch the argument and the way they talk about us and the way it's so dismissive. The technique they're using is really equivalent to the struggle sessions that used to happen in Maoist China, where people would be berated and belittled until they would succumb to whatever it was that the Chinese Communist Party was trying to get them to succumb to. And so they would do it through ridicule, though. So that's what's happening here. Our positions are good. Our issue sets are good. That's not the point. The point is that they don't like the fact that we're winning. And so it's a struggle session to beat us down. And I know nobody reads the Post Bulletin, and I'm not taking this. I'm not taking this any more seriously than I feel like I can. But a lot of our issue sets are very clearly laid out. The one I will take exception with is when they talk about the statistics about disparities in economics when you see things through the lens of race. And I did question how those statistics were collected. It's not that I questioned the gaps, I questioned how the data was being analyzed. In other words, were some of those people that fall into those categories, did they come to Rochester to seek better economic fortunes? Maybe they're not there yet. These types of explanations seem to be ignored by the sort of smug, lazy editors at the Post Bulletin. So I think that it's important that that's pointed out. A little granularity about my experiences in Rochester and in life in general with race. They say in the endorsement letter that I prefer that we don't see race. And that is another area that they did get right. I do prefer that we don't see race. As I made the point in the debate, which they completely ignored. They only used the first 5 seconds of my answer, and they completely ignored my awesome answer that came after that. I don't want to see race. I see people. I see human beings, unique creations of God. That's what I see. And my experiences, I have not used on the campaign trail like some other candidates do. They use pictures and sort of manipulation to say, hey, look, I'm a good person. It's virtue signaling is really what it is. But I will tell you, because they are trying to make race an issue. So as I mentioned in the debate, I went to Catholic school with refugees from the Vietnam War. They were my friends, classmates. I was in Rochester when the Somali immigrants and refugees came and had jobs where I worked with them. And then later, when I was a teacher in Kansas City, I taught at an inner city charter school. It was all African American. Did I get to know my students and learn about their music and things like that? Of course I did. Did I do it because they were black and I was white? No, they were my students. I was the teacher. I wanted to be able to relate to them. That's a human thing, though. That's not a race thing. And then later, when I worked in apartment management in Rochester, almost all of my work colleagues were Sudanese or Somali. So I've had ties to the Sudanese and Somali and Rochester Muslim community for over 20 years. A big vertical of my voting block in Rochester are Sudanese and Somali. But the Post Bulletin is so lazy that they never even made the effort to ask anything about my lived experiences, as they like to say. Furthermore, we've outreached to all Rochester people. Again, if the city and the Post Bulletin want to talk about race so much, I'll tell you that we've had a Hispanic outreach. We've had our campaign materials translated into Spanish, into Arabic. We've done outreach to every group, every of any different type you can think of in Rochester. We're running to be mayor of all of Rochester, not just of certain groups. These people want to pigeonhole me. Just because my family's been here for 150 years, the Post Bulletin jumps to the conclusion that that automatically means that I don't like any new people that have come here. Nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, if the Post Bulletin or the city wants to be introduced to some non-white Rochester citizens who are successful and own businesses and own homes, I'd be happy to introduce you to some of my friends if if that's the issue for you. So anyway, I still want to encourage people to read that article. I know this video is getting a little bit long. I told you it would be. I want to encourage people to read that article because I think it is important to know and see how they are trying. As I said, this is a CCP style struggle session where they're trying to beat us down publicly, and calling us unfit to lead, etc. You can go and read the article yourself. Just Google Kim Norton Post Bulletin, and the article should come up. I don't think it's behind a paywall. So, but we'll move on from here. Everything is going great. I'll have a little campaign update video. We are finishing strong. We've always been strong finishers, and the general election here is going to be no exception. We are coming in strong. We're going to run hard through the tape though to the very end, and we're not going to take our foot off the gas. But we got great things happening, and I'll update you on some of those very soon here in the next day or two. So until next time, good day.